Well, it looks like this is a little bit of a problem. See that?
It wouldn't push back in either.
See that stub shaft, intermediate shaft, whatever they call it? It's stuck inside that CV axle. It's supposed to actually be two different pieces, and that piece there is supposed to be in the side of this gear drive that goes into the transmission. And it was locked. Would you say locked in drive? Wouldn't move, or locked?
Right.
It just
Drive.
it wouldn't drive. So how'd you get it in here? Pushed it in like in neutral,
Yeah.
and it just wouldn't move at all. And when the axle was pulled out, how did you determine that it was the axle? Technical service bulletin?
Contacted Volkswagen tech line, and since that was a new vehicle, they wanted to replace it all instead of determining the cause of failure.
So they just want you to put a new intermediate shaft in there and CV axle
And a bevel box, correct?
and a bevel box?
That's what it's called.
That right there?
Yep.
So this is a brand new bevel box?
No, it's still coming out.
Oh, you're taking it out right
It's
now.
a
So
new car.
you're replacing that. It's a 2025 with 20 miles on it?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Customer states transmissions grinding.
Transmissions grinding. Basically what happens from here is that little bevel box, gearbox looking thing that sits on that side of the transmission. Warranty pricing is like $2,500 to the manufacturers, what they're going to end up eating on this. If you were to go buy it online, some of the bevel boxes, depending on if you're going to like ecstuning.com or if you're going to different sources, you might spend between $3,500 and $4,500 for that bevel box. And then the CV axle alone is like $1,400, they said. And then you got to put that stub shaft, intermediate shaft, back in there, because what ends up happening is it's like an axle snaps and you don't go nowhere. It's locked up and it just sits there and revs up. So the manufacturer, Volkswagen, when they contacted Hotline, said, at this point, we don't want you to try to figure out what happened to it. Just take all the bad parts off, the CV axle, the intermediate shaft, the bevel box, replace all that with brand new stuff, and give us that back, and we'll figure out what happened. So we don't know why it locked up. We don't know what happened there. And when you take that CV axle out of that front corner, if somebody was to like try to go in that stall and drive it, say you still had it put together or something, it won't move. That if that drive is not in, it won't move the vehicle. That drive needs to be there in order for it to see a slip or a lockup on that side to engage the other side or the rear wheels or whatever it may be. So without that being in contact and functioning properly, all you hear is maybe some slight grinding at the side of the transmission and just revving up, and it doesn't go anywhere. That's pretty sad. 2025 Atlas, 20 miles, hasn't even made it to the customer yet. Anyway, there's your update.